All right, Jay, I'm going to paint you a picture here, okay? So, Games Workshop just blew up your house.
Everything's gone.
Everything's gone. Your life is in shambles. You know, you're thinking, how did it come to this? I used to love this hobby. I used to love this company.
Are you describing most people on the internet?
No.
Or the people that comment on our videos?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
And so you need to take this very seriously. Okay? Not giving it the respect it deserves.
Sorry.
And as one does in that situation, that is very real and can happen, what would one do to put their life back together and build some kind of meaningful hobby again?
Okay. I gotta rebuild my hobby again?
Yeah.
That's tough.
From the ground up. But you hate Games Workshop now. Like, you don't want to go there. You've kind of like, you know, or to use another analogy, you're gonna like cut off ties. You're gonna estrange.
Oh man,
it's like an estranged relative.
Oh,
like I don't want to talk to that person anymore.
That's tough because it's in every store. But I guess
maybe you don't go to stores.
Just if you're online.
You got just like you would avoid family events, right?
Well, like I'm gonna give you the logical thing would be how I've always talked about that I would just eventually fall into the natural order, which is being a train hobbyist. but that's not very glamorous. It's just building layouts and watching trains.
Yeah, we always talk about. Jay talks about this like it's not going to happen to him when he hits like 60 or whatever.
He's going to turn 60.
He's going to be like roping off the basement with caution stripes.
A little train guy.
Building out his whole
landscape. My conductor's hat on, and
and
my wife will know that every Sunday between 2 and 4 p.m. is train time or whatever.
not to be disturbed.
Yeah. Otherwise, they won't run on time. But besides that,
what a small amount of time you've carved out for yourself in this fantasy.
You got a conservative number, you know. If I get more.
Even your dreams are realistic.
yeah.
Oh,
the problem is it'll be at home, so you have to actually what you need to do is rent a space and escape the house.
You want the baseball fan who goes to the game by himself and just falls asleep in the up section with his he's scoring the game and then just kind of falls asleep.
He's in the farthest chair he could possibly buy in the nosebleeds. And he's scoring the game with his little binder, and he's passed out long ago. And I realized I didn't understand at the time until
we never got that guy until.
And then I got married, and I was like,
had kids, and it's just like
guaranteed.
This guy's
whole section of his day is gone every week, and he gets to relax. This guy's 200 IQ right there. He's a piece. Back to a realistic answer. That's a good question for me personally.
So guys, if you like these kind of videos, I know we're being a little silly to start this one, but we try to tackle these like industry things each week, a couple videos, usually around 3. And if you like, or you have some questions yourself that you want answered by a couple people that have been in the industry for way too long, you can join our Patreon there, and we take suggestions for videos on there as well, and helps support the channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah. No, as for games, for me it's always like, at least right now, I do paint a lot. So then the minis, what minis? The minis have to be good. So I mean, I could see myself maybe doing, maybe finally dipping into the Crisis Protocol a little bit, or just painting a lot of figures for a while. I do enjoy painting the larger busts and figures.
That's a good point, because I think if you detach, if you're not really caring about the game very much, which a lot of customers don't, even though there's this weird sort of thing, you keep the game as this option potentially in the future. I see a lot of customers do that. Oh yeah, no, I want to play eventually, and years will go by and you're they're still talking about this mythical day that will come where they'll play a game. Yeah. And I think it's just admitting to themselves that I think you just like the hobby part of it, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. You don't have to play a game at the end of it. If you fit into that camp, I think you made a good point. The figure painting hobby is just probably scratches the itch the best.
Figure painting is very satisfying because you go at your own pace. You don't really. Just one project it's holistic, and then you move on to the next thing, and you're always trying things. It has its thing for sure. It can be laborious sometimes too if you're stuck on a thing. It definitely has a bit of that. It's a little bit more I guess if you're writing, if you do a lot of writing, then you might have moments where you're I just don't know where to go with this. I can see that happening. It has the same vices as any other miniature collecting, where you have way more than you end up collecting more than you'll finish and whatever. But I think the crux of the question is like, what other minis or miniature games, like if I had to pick. For me personally, it would be very difficult because I've been in Games Workshop ecosystem for so long, and that's the stuff that I love working on and playing the most.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you could probably separate the question even into two categories or two answers, I think, probably, which is like, because it's going to depend, right? Are you dependent on going to a shop to play?
Right.
Or are you considering just gaming with your friends at home? Because I think those...
Yeah, so that's the thing,
right?
Then either all my friends would jump ship with me or whatever, or I would just observe them continuing their Games Workshop experience, and I would just like paint something else. Yeah, I mean, I played Infinity before semi-regularly. That was a pretty fun game overall. I think that's a definite pivot. I think, but I still think personally, probably Marvel, because it's just one of the most fun games to play. It really does have the cinematic part to it and just nailed down. It doesn't take itself mega seriously. I know you can play the game at a very high level, but it's kind of yeah. And otherwise, I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so I probably wouldn't do that. I've done the Flames of War before. It's a good little thing here and there. It can be fun to get like into the historical bit. I could see myself doing some historicals maybe. But again, probably just to like think of like a lot of guys do this. They just think of like a setting, like usually it's some sort of battle or moment in history, and they want to just recreate some bit of that. There are other good games, obviously.
And like Bolt Action and Flames would probably be the biggest two that you're the most likely to find on the shelf in a store.
If I wanted to, if I cared about the gaming part, The other ones are there's lots of other great ones, but now you kind of have to locate a club. If you're going into some of the more, I don't know, there's rule sets.
Napoleonics.
And ancients and things. There's lots of clubs for this. You got to look for them a little bit. And that's kind of neat. I appreciate the appeal, but from what I've observed and seen and touched with regards to those, it's real. Again, the quality of the minis is tough, and it's not as exciting for me. That's where like a game like Infinity and Marvel again are like, the minis are cool enough and interesting enough for me. I don't know. What about you? What would you? I mean, you already do Marvel.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is we kind of usually dabble in other things anyways. Like being a shop, and we've always historically kind of like carried a lot of other games just because we want to have that variety for people. Because we know that like people come to this place on their own, whether it's just fatigue and kind of like getting kind of tired of playing a certain way, or as any relationship with a company can be really like, there's moments where you just get annoyed and maybe you take some time off or whatever. It's important for a shop to have other ways that person can like engage and kind of be involved. I'd say like there's less than ever before now, there's less than ever before at the store level.
Yeah.
There's more than ever before, I think, at the household level. If you look and you're willing to do like these really indie small stuff, there's like tons of people making games. One page rules is huge because like one thing it does is it gives you the ability to use a lot of miniatures you have already. Like these rules agnostic games are pretty popular.
Yep. There's like that whole. I already know. Actually, I would do this. I would join the few guys I know that do the because some guy online or some group of people have designed like a bunch of War Master in like new sculpts in resin or like 3D printing.
Right.
I'd probably play 3D printed
War Master. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go into
is that still Games Workshop? Oh, I guess it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's not though, according to people that would define it that way, because
I couldn't even. I tried to go like
you've diverted from like supporting them.
Oh yeah,
financially.
That's true. So that's okay. Oh, because I hate them now.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I said they blew up your house.
Oh, okay.
Remember that was the premise.
Oh, that's easy. Then I can play 3D printed Battlefleet Gothic. I can play 3D printed War Master.
I've always found, as a side note, I've always found that kind of strange, like the sort of like detachment to the point where they're like, I don't want to support them anymore. But then they actually, This is the thing with the funny thing about hate is that it comes from love, right? Like it's like the opposite reaction to love in a lot of ways. So like these people love the lore and the IP and this, they just don't like the practices of the company, right? But I think, and I'll shill a little bit for ourselves here in the situation, is I think it's always important to remember that like you're also supporting like small businesses as well, right? So you can still not like Games Workshop the company, and you buy a box of Termagants from your local store. You've supported that guy way more than you've ever supported Games Workshop, right? Just to kind of put that in perspective. That purchase means so much more to that local store than it means to Games Workshop on the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's an interesting topic because I think there's a lot of avenues to go with this, because I think you can also go into the like just, we talk about this as well, like detaching from the sort of like fast-paced nature of like the release schedule, and like finding a way to just kind of exist within the hobby and have a relationship with Games Workshop that's not dictated by Games Workshop necessarily. Whether that's finding just having a collection of miniatures. Like it's funny, like I look at like my Blood Angels for 40K. I'm never really like upset by changes because like I just always viewed it as this like collection. And every time new Marines come out or new Blood Angels come out, I just add a little bit, maybe paint something. Maybe every year on average I'll paint like one thing for them. It's not a lot, but
it's because your goal was like it was foremost to recreate that army from your childhood, and not even to play with it. It was just like they made new minis finally, and I want to do them because I have fond memories of the GW staff at the time having the cool Blood Angel
for sure. It was awesome. Like just complete side tangent here, but like the staff member at Square One, Jake, he actually had Studio Blood Angel army. So like his army was in the back of the Blood Angels Codex. So he's like a bit of like a god to us when we were kids. Like we're just like, this guy, I want to be like this guy. Who's like an awesome painter. And I think that got in my head, and like that's why I early on, and I was like really latched on to painting and wanted my miniatures to look great. It's just like those first experiences. But yeah, that's definitely true. Like my intention is a big thing. I think when you get into a game and your intention's to play, it's easier to get annoyed by like these like rule changes and addition changes, and because there's a lot more flux there. And if you just like paint the models and enjoy them for what they are, it's harder to be upset because you the thing that you're getting gratification from is just looking at them and enjoying them. Versus the game is this like fluid sort of thing that keeps morphing and changing. And it's funny, every time I get like rule change and I'm thinking, how can I let it make my army better and stuff, and I was like, I don't even like play that many tournaments. Why am I getting or whatever? I'm like, I'm still getting to play games with my friends, and like ultimately, and then those are like the results literally don't matter. So I found that the more I've already been doing this for years. All my army projects are like heavily weighted to like how I want it to look more than what it needs to do on the table. I still study the game and and all those things. I like to be in the know, but I find in general, if you can apply that to almost every bit of any game that you collect, you'll generally be happier. But it's kind of funny though. Like I think about like armies I've had and I've owned over the years. I think about like the Dark Eldar army I painted in like 2008, 2009. And I'm like, and I sold that years ago, but like I imagine like I'm thinking about it in my mind. It was like probably like 5,000 points of Dark Eldar. I'm like, if I had that collection today, I could just use that right now and build like pretty cool armies out of it. So there is this like little bit of like, I do agree, like there's some annoying stuff that changes, and it's I think if you're always, I always want to be sensitive here because like people's budgets are different and stuff like that, and like for someone buying one Kill Team box, it's a lot, like a huge purchase for them for months and months and months, and I respect that totally. And I think whenever you're in that situation, you're obviously going to be more vulnerable to these sort of like changes. But the other cold hard fact, and this is always the way it's going to be, so when you enter enter into this hobby with Games Workshop, I think you have to kind of just understand that it's just a business to them, right? And the cold hard truth is that they might look at you and say, not a real person would say this, but like they like the business would look at you and say, there's a good chance this person wasn't going to buy another Kill Team box anyways, or if they were, it was going to be, you know, next year or 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and we're basically just like forcing their hand now anyways to do that in a weird way, but not really.
I mean, they're also, when they make a big Kill Team box like the one that's coming out, they're going to be like, well, look, we made this really nice, awesome box that's got everything in it. It's great. It costs this much, and then they just leave it. The ball's in your court. Like, are you going? You know, if you're going to buy it, then buy it. If you're not, then don't. You know, it's. I think this is one thing we've completely gone off topic, but that they generally try and, at least with their big boxes, is to be like, okay, yes, the money's a silly number, but if you do buy it and you participate in it, it will be good. Like, you know what I mean? You know.
And I'm not trying to turn this video into like a you know, you should actually just like get your relationship with Games Workshop back on track.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like if they left tomorrow. You wouldn't have a choice. Yeah. What else would you do?
For sure.
And and in 2024, I mean, like Chris said, there is a lot you can do.
Well, let's do a hypothetical thing, okay? You're divorcing Games Workshop, and you.
So it's blowing me up. It's blowing the house up. It's divorcing me. Okay.
And you got this hot new girlfriend.
Are you
her
saying
name's Infinity?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
At least it's not War Machine.
And you got to buy. Oh. Hey man, they're rehabilitating their brand.
I mean, they are. Yeah, they're working out and.
You know, I'll give you a lot of credit. You could have said Other Side, and you went with War Machine this time.
Oh, Other Side. That's.
Anyways, you've got a hot new girlfriend. Her name's Infinity, and you know you're gonna go out for dinner. You're gonna buy some new toys, right? When you look at the startup cost of any of these like other games now, right? Like, let's say one of the Operation boxes, because there's a new one coming. I think this fall.
The new starter.
Yeah, the new starter, and their price now is kind of around the $200 mark.
It's gonna be $200.
And you're getting two. Basically what they call like starter armies that are usually about 150 points. Which is
you're probably
not a full game.
You're probably gonna get 20 models or 18 models, basically.
Yeah, so not a full side for each side.
Some buildings and a rulebook or something.
Because they always package it like the thing, and then there's like a Beyond box that comes out that kind of gets you almost there. And even if you were to buy like your Infinity faction separately, you're probably like in the $200 to $300 range just to play like a real like full game. Now the rules are free, that's great. You obviously still need buddies to play. It is a very heavy terrain commitment to play Infinity.
Yep.
Luckily, the new hard cardboard, thick cardboard stuff is really good quality. But let's just say $300 to kind of get an army. You probably could do it a little cheaper with some of their Force boxes. They're like $150, $180. We're kind of close to starting Kill Team. Like we're in the same ballpark, right? Of a complete experience. So let's not say that like the value isn't equivalent here, right?
No, we've seen the price creep across all of this. That you know, Infinity Blister is like 20 Canadian, sometimes 25 Canadian now.
For like a single mini, yeah.
For a single mini.
Yeah.
That's for like a standard like humanoid infantry. If you want like something in heavy armor or whatever, like it could easily be $40 or whatever. So if we're talking about like how much mini you're getting, it's like equivalent almost.
People in the comments will say, yeah, but Chris, you're comparing it to another like retail game, and I'm like, yeah, of course I am. We're a retail store.
Yeah,
so, like, that's like what we do.
Yeah,
right?
And then the
but of course the printing,
sure.
Can you print?
Sure.
Can you print things and make things for cheaper? Absolutely, you can for sure. Yeah. But
if you're happy with what you get from the printed material, sure. I guess. To really boil it down is it's going to come back to, and again we encourage this, is like what do you get into a hobby group and if you can, if that's possible, and what are they into, and if you can like align yourself, and sometimes you have to make a concession. Like I'm usually like not the, what do you call it? I'm not as into the Space Marines and even 40K in general, but if like everyone I know is doing Heresy or doing Jump or doing something, I know that that's like a fleeting moment when everyone's on the same page over something. So I will just drop what I'm doing and buy into that game too, even if it's like not my favorite game. But just because then it's like you're included in a thing, and it means you'll get games and you'll enjoy the whole, aspect. So it would be the same thing. I mean, we used to do this a lot with other miniature games beforehand. I think as you've probably seen from a lot of our videos in general, especially post-COVID, is like, and you're probably going to kind of make this conclusion with this video, is like there is a lot of other games, and it depends on what you have available to you and what your friends are doing. But like in terms of a store, it's like we're increasingly becoming just more Games Workshop centric, because like they just release so much, and it's what's hot, what sells. A lot of them are good products too, and they're just suffocating the other, like,
Yeah.
And I just don't know how the others, other than store owners, like putting themselves into the thing, being like, okay, I love War Machine, I'm gonna put War Machine on the shelf and make it work, and you're gonna put the effort in. But those are one of those products that, like, as soon as you take your foot off the pedal a little, it will go away.
It just falls off the wagon.
And even we've seen it with like Marvel here, which we've carried for like a long time. We've always had the full range, and it's like we've had moments where our Marvel community is like really active, and we have like, I mean, for a while when the game was new, it was like crazy. Like we had like 20 people coming in and buying every new release every time, like for months and months and years even. And then we diverted our attention to some other things for a while, and it just started to contract like immediately. Like it's literally a balloon with a hole in it. You have to continually like have the air feeding into it. Yeah. And that's, again, if you're a shop, you can make that work, but you're also being pulled in many directions. There's other games, there's other things coming out. If you want to add revenue sources or bring in new products, you then have to put that attention to those things for a little while. Like it's, whereas the 40K or the Games Workshop ecosystem just continues. Like it's like steady. You're gonna have players, you're gonna have business. That's why, like, you've probably seen there's another video we made, like card stores are stocking Kill Team and Warhammer products for the same reason. It's found its way into that like mainstream evergreen thing that, like, if you have some and put it on the shelf, it will sell. So
yeah, totally. Totally.
So I don't know if you could. I think it would be if I tried to divorce myself from Games Workshop, it would be more of a, okay, I'm just gonna live downstairs in the basement now, or something. It's like we live in the same house still, but like one of those, like,
I think you just you just get used to the fact that, like, or you accept the fact that every store you're gonna go into is that's gonna be the dominant thing, and I think I would avoid the path of the old War Machine player, where you carry the hate with you, and you start, because that's not a way to build something good.
No.
And I've seen this before, and it's one of the reasons I truly think that War Machine declined so heavily. Is it was built on a lot of hate, and people you ran into were telling you they play that because it wasn't Games Workshop, right?
What a terrible reason.
And I hate hearing that when people say, like, I'm playing this game. It's like, no, play that game because you like it.
Yeah.
And tell people that.
Yeah.
Tell people, I play Infinity with my buddies. It's fantastic. We play it because we like it. We like this about it and this about it. You should play it too.
Yeah.
That's how you build community, right? You can build a community around hate, but it will be so volatile. And so hopefully that helps out a little bit.
This was a disorganized mess.
It was just a mess. I don't know.
People are going to be like, "What did I just listen to?"
This is the mad ramblings.
This was a 24-hour rant or 24-minute ramble. Yeah,
it's just sometimes you have a great idea and it just kind of leads to different places. But let us know what you think about any of the ramblings we just gave you, and if you have kind of had one of these instances with GW where you kind of needed to take time off, or you just wanted to stop playing. What was next for you? What did you do? What have you built for yourself in terms of your hobby? And are you happy doing that now? Let us know. Until next time, guys. Take care.
Bye.